Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily Live, the place for all your Manchester United news, the latest headlines, transfer rumours, all that stuff here in one place every single night at 10:30 p.m. UK time. And we have got loads to talk about. Earlier on, we had gone live with the breaking news that Paul Pogba had obviously got coronavirus and he had tested positive for coronavirus, and as a result had been withdrawn from the France squad for their next two games, and obviously is a doubt for the start of the season for Manchester United. But even that has been knocked off the headlines today because there's been so much going on. Harry Maguire's just given an interview to the BBC with his version of events of what went down in Greece, so we'll be having a look at some of those quotes. We're also hearing United's summer has gone potentially from bad to worse after Harry Maguire was getting locked up in Greece, and we had Victor Lindelof fighting muggers and Paul Pogba getting coronavirus, no signings so far. Everybody else is strengthening, and then Marcus Rashford picks up an injury as well. We've already got injuries to our left backs, Brandon Williams and of course Luke Shaw, and now it looks like we could have an injury to our left winger or our left forward, Marcus Rashford, who's looking like he's going to withdraw from the England squad with a knock. He's going to be rested up ahead of the new season. They say he was playing towards the back end of last season, which was a couple of weeks ago, with an injury. So obviously that's an issue for Manchester United. He picked up an injury in one of those Europa League games, as you can see pictured there as well, which is possibly the injury which is seeing him have this period of time out. But it maybe also explains his below par performances in that, but also our reliance on him and playing him despite the fact that he's injured yet again. That's really disappointing. We saw him get a long-term injury at the start of the season because we obviously overplayed him when he was injured, and he had a back injury, and now he's got an ankle injury and we've played him through that, and he's having to withdraw from games. Obviously from a United perspective, he's not being involved with England, so he's getting more rest, and hopefully he'll be okay for the start of pre-season for Manchester United, but not ideal at all. And United's summer seemingly going from bad to worse. Still plenty of time to go. Hopefully we can get those 2, 3, maybe 4 signings that we want. We're hearing about Manchester United still intent on signing Jadon Sancho, and they're in it for the long haul, which is pretty obvious as we've seen already. We're also hearing Nemanja Matic has retired from international football too. Chris Smalling's transfer to AS Roma is believed to be close, as well as loads of other stuff to talk about. But first up, let's get stuck into on this day, the 27th of August, so Sunday the 27th of August in 1921, John Scott makes his Manchester United debut after having won the Military Cross in the Great War. He plays half-back in a 5-0 defeat at Everton in a Football League First Division fixture. He would only play the 21-22 season for the club, making 24 appearances. So on this day, John Scott made his debut for Manchester United. So that's today's on this day. Let us know what you guys are thinking about all the news that we're here to discuss as well, here on AdamMcKola TV, here on United Daily Live. We have got loads to discuss, and as I said, Harry Maguire has had that interview with the BBC, and he's given a few quotes on the situation as it went down. He was obviously found guilty. He's appealed to that decision, and that conviction has been overturned pending an appeal. And he says, on being in custody, it was horrible. It's not something that I want to do again, and I don't wish it on anybody. Obviously, the situation has made it difficult for one of the biggest clubs in the world, so I regret putting the fans and the club through this, but I have done nothing wrong. The Greek police hit me a lot on the legs. It wasn't on my mind being hurt. I was in that much of a panic, fear, scared for my life. Maguire, when asked if he tried to bribe the police, said no for sure. As soon as I saw that statement, it's ridiculous. And he said an apology is something that you do when you have done nothing wrong, so has said that he will not be apologising. He says 2 men approached his sister. They asked where she was from. She responded, my fiance saw my little sister's eyes go into the back of her head. She was fainting, going in and out of consciousness. My initial thought was we were getting kidnapped after that, so they thought they were going to the hospital, and then they thought they were getting kidnapped. We got down on our knees, put our hands in the air. They started hitting us, hitting my legs, saying my career is over, no more football, you will not play again. At this point, I thought there's no chance these lot are police, or I don't know who they are, so I tried to run away. It's a massive privilege to play for the club and to be captain, and it's not my decision to make on whether he should keep it. He says he has great faith in the Greek law. The retrial will give us more time to prepare, gather the evidence, allow witnesses into the court, and I'm really confident that the truth would be told and will come out. And in that interview, he looked pretty shaken up and all that kind of stuff. But it's a quite interesting one, actually, because you wouldn't think, with the case being still open and going to an appeal, that he'd be speaking publicly on it to BBC News. But there's obviously been a lot said in the press by the Greek prosecutors and by those that have been trying to do him over, because it does seem like a stitch-up job. And I suppose he's kind of got to get his story out there as well, with those guys already getting their story out. So it's understandable for him to do this interview and to kind of set the record straight. And we don't know how long we could be waiting for that appeal. They could allow that appeal case date to drag on for a while, so we could be waiting months, a year, who knows how long. So I suppose he's got to come out with his statement and with his version of events, so that he's got something there. And I suppose until proven otherwise, I'm gonna stand behind him. I don't think we should be stripping him of the captaincy over this. Obviously, if it comes down to it and he's got to deal with a court case in the middle of a season, you could possibly be seeing the captaincy just maybe suspended for a little bit from him. But I can't see it being a long-term issue with him in terms of having the captaincy stripped off him, and I don't think we should be doing that at all. Someone that was one of those names that was mentioned as a potential alternative captain for Harry Maguire was Marcus Rashford, and as we said, set for an injury layoff. He's set for a period of rest to get him ready for the start of the new Premier League campaign. He's been carrying an ankle injury which was picked up towards the end of the season. Now he's already just come back from a back injury which kept him out for an awfully long time, and now he's got this injury going into pre-season. Pre-season starts next week, I think September the 2nd for Manchester United. So we'll be looking to go into that pre-season and get Marcus Rashford in there and start in pre-season so we can get him ready for the new campaign. But this isn't ideal, is it? It isn't ideal at all. In the article, it does says there's confidence from Manchester United that he'll be available for the full season and he won't have any issues with that and going into the European Championships next summer. But obviously not an ideal start to preparations for him. At the very least, it does get him out of the England squad, which is decent for Manchester United, as we don't have to worry about him picking up another knock in those games. So Marcus Rashford has been he's got an injury and he's not going to play in those England games by the look of things. He's had his ankle injury scanned, set for a short period of rest to get him ready for the start of the season, and that comes from the Telegraph's Mike McGraw on Marcus Rashford. So that's there. Another interesting story as United's summer goes from bad to worse. Let us know what you guys are thinking in those comments below as well. Obviously I can see loads of you guys in there: Cannonball, Ragav, Morton, Testak, Infirmware, David, Vishal, Kyle, PGTR, YM, Charlie, MUFC, Jack. Can see loads of you guys in there, so thank you for joining us today here on United Daily Live. Make sure you're keeping it locked, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing, you're subscribing, and you're getting involved. We're here every single day with the latest Manchester United news, and we also hear updates on from the Guardian on Jadon Sancho today as well, saying that Manchester United are intent on getting the deal for Jadon Sancho done. There's a confidence there because Jadon Sancho wants to move, and they're prepared to drag their feet a little bit and play the long game in this. I think it's quite obvious that they're playing the long game in this one, to be honest. It's been dragging on for a while. There's been reports, obviously reliable reports, that United have agreed terms with Jadon Sancho on a 5-year contract till 2025 for 250 grand a week. We just got to get this deal agreed with Dortmund, and United are well and truly dragging their heels over that one. Dubsy with the super chat says, our fans need to chill, they're too quick to judge people. Why were they driven to the police in the first place? Says Dubsy on the super chat. Yeah, I'm definitely not looking to criticise or overly criticise Harry Maguire at the moment, because it all does seem very, very dodgy. Still Corners is in the house. Nick says it's corruption, simple as that. What's my spidey senses saying about the Maguire incident, says Yashafri. I think it's a stitch up, definitely. They've seen their opportunity there, you know, to maybe get some money out of the situation, or to get some headlines, or to, you know, just terrorize a celebrity, and that's what they've done, to be honest with you. That's how it seems to me. So let's see what happens. Because first it was supposed to be a fight with tourists, and now that's being not really discussed, and now it's to do with resisting arrest. Why were they getting arrested in the first place? So let's see what happens. Yeah, let's just get behind him and see what happens. Casso says we're still on Jadon Sancho with the thinking emoji. It looks like we are, yeah. But like we say, this one could be dragging on for a long time with Manchester United and Jadon Sancho. We've also got the news today that Nemanja Matic has retired from international football. He's not happy with the way things are in the Serbian setup. I suppose that's good news for Manchester United in terms of, you know, we want to be wrapping him in cotton wool a little bit. He's an important figure for Manchester United. It doesn't look like the holding midfield position's a position we're going to be investing in the summer. And Nemanja Matic is someone that we need to be wrapping up in cotton wool for those big Champions League games, for the big Premier League games. And him being out of the internationals is great for us. He's not travelling around when the international breaks do come. So I think that's great news for Manchester United in terms of Nemanja Matic announcing his international retirement. It's probably the right age for it as well, and it probably, you know, would have played a part in United's decision to give him a contract as well. Obviously they're not going to force that kind of situation, but they may have known that this was coming. So yeah, shout out to Marshall for the call up. It's about time, says Sefi, and I definitely agree. It is about time that Anthony Martial was given a call up to the France side. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on in their fixtures. I think they've got Iceland and Croatia, correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll be interesting to see how that one goes on. Matt Hodges says Villa want Romero and Delole for Grealish. Your thoughts, Adam? I seen a report someone sent to me earlier on today, which was obviously that report from the Birmingham Mail in regards to Delole and Romero. It's not the first time we've heard Sergio Romero linked with a move to Aston Villa. It is the first time we've heard Diogo Dalot linked with a move to Aston Villa. Now, Diogo Dalot has been linked with a move to some bigger clubs, PSG, Juventus, Barcelona. Now, obviously, Barcelona's situation is probably changing at the minute. Juventus' situation, their manager's changed. That's possibly changed. You know, PSG, who knows what happens there. But Diogo Dalot going to Aston Villa is a new one to me. I couldn't see him making that move. But then it is a Premier League move. It's a team you'd probably be playing you'd definitely be playing week in, week out at if you're fit. And it could even be a loan move from Manchester United to send Diogo Dalot to Aston Villa if that was to happen with Sergio Romero in a permanent deal. Look, I don't think swap deals very rarely happen. And I can't see United swapping two players for one. We'd probably still have to chuck a little bit of money on top. You'd say Romero's probably worth about 15-20 mil. You'd say Delot's probably worth around the same. So what you're saying, 30 to 40 mil for them two? You're probably still going to have to chuck on 20 mil, 30 mil for Jack Grealish on top of them if you were going to give them in a permanent deal swaps. I don't see it happening. Maybe one. Maybe you see Romero go there. I think Pepe Reina's signed a new deal for somebody else. He's obviously not going to be there next season. Tom Heaton had a big injury. So we could see that happen, but Diogo Dalot, I'm a little bit more sceptical on that one. Chloe with the super chat says, did you see what Wazza said about Harry? Basically said it's rubbish. He knows the guy's personality. I did see those quotes on, I think it was on TalkSport earlier. Wayne Rooney's one of those that have come out in the defence of Harry Maguire, and I'll read some of the quotes here. United Report have put them together in an article, so let me just find the quotes. He said, knowing Harry the way I know him is completely not his character. It's out of character. Everything that was reported to have happened, I couldn't get my head around how it went to court. He was guilty and sentenced all within the space of 2 hours. It's not easy. I've made my own mistakes and I've had my issues with the law, so I know how difficult it can be. But Harry's not that type of person at all. He was out there with his girlfriend, his family and friends and their girlfriends, so it's not a group of lads where sometimes things happen. So in my opinion, something has gone on that has provoked him. As a nation, we're too quick to judge. It's just out of character. It's not him at all. Now obviously it's going to a retrial, so at the moment we have to wait and see what happens. But it does look like a major stitch up on behalf of the Greek police with Harry Maguire. So let's have a look at how that one goes down. We also heard yesterday that Wan-Bissaka was in trouble because he went to Dubai and would have to quarantine. And today the Guardian have reported that Wan-Bissaka was given extra time to recuperate by Manchester United, hence the trip to Dubai, because there's been so much negativity around Manchester United recently. But that's the least of our concerns. That's the very, very least of our concerns. We've also heard about Chrissy Smalling. Now, where's that story? Where's the journalist that had tweeted that? 1 second. There we go. So John Solano, Italian journalist, has tweeted and has been speaking about Chris Smalling. And he said Chris Smalling to AS Roma is close. And I've got that tweet via United Report as well. So Chris Smalling to AS Roma is reportedly very, very close. That could be another £15 million into United's coffers if we can get that deal done. I think we're going to have to get rid of a few of these players. If we can, we bring in some more money to spend. So obviously we just need to wait and see if we can get a few of these deals done with players going out as well. So we can get more players coming in. But Chris Smalling's move to Roma looks like it could be back on and looks like it could be close. We've obviously heard of a few different clubs linked with him, Premier League clubs linked with him as well. And a Premier League move for Chris Smalling wouldn't surprise me. But then obviously we're hearing talk of this as well. Sam Pilger from The Times and various other places has been speaking about Jack Grealish, and he said United have confirmed interest in Jack Grealish and remain the favourites to sign him if any deal happens. United had looked at setting up a deal for Grealish as early as this January and bringing him to Old Trafford this summer. Then they signed Fernandes. The question being asked now is where he would play in the United side. Now, I think that's a ridiculous question. You see Man City at the moment contemplating whether they should sign Lionel Messi. You don't hear them saying, well actually, where would Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez and Sterling play? They're just getting players because you need a squad of talent. United don't have a squad of talent. We have 11 players, 12 players, 13 players that you can rely on. Beyond that, we don't have much more. Adding Jack Grealish to the side would give you something else. When Bruno Fernandes maybe has a dip in form, or he's injured, or he needs to be rested, you can bring in someone like Jack Grealish. Rashford, if he's injured or needs to be rested, you can bring in someone in that, and Grealish could easily play in that position. So I think that's a ridiculous question. Where would he play? Of course, he's probably not going to be in your first 11 to start week in, week out every single game, but he'd still be playing very regularly, starting quite regularly, and be an excellent alternative off the bench. So I think it's a no-brainer to sign someone like Jack Grealish if we have the funds there available. Sam Pilger says United have a confirmed interest in him, and if any deal happens, it will be to Manchester United, who remain the favourites. But obviously, who knows what's going to happen. Via Man United Zone as well, we've got a story from Marca which say United have taken an interest in Real Madrid left-back Sergio Reguilon. Madrid happy to sell for 20 to 25 million euros. Obviously played for Sevilla this season. That's a big link to Manchester United. A possible position where we need to strengthen as well. You could see Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams go into the right back position and providing that competition there. Luke Shaw and Reguilon playing for left back in that position. You could possibly see that happening. Greg says BBC interview Maguire just released on the BBC site. We have covered that a little bit already and some of the quotes that were released from that as well. But thank you very much for your super chat and getting involved. I'll read a few more of those quotes out for you guys that have missed it. And as if it needed to be said by Sky Sports' Brian Swanson, the Man United are not expected to bid for Lionel Messi this summer. Club will be active in the window, but finances and impact of pandemic make the move highly unlikely. And like I said at the time, the only English club that I think will be signing Lionel Messi if he does move to the Premier League will be Manchester City, and he'll be used by their owners as part of their sports washing campaign through the vehicle of Manchester City. But yeah, that's going to happen, isn't it? It'll be Manchester City or PSG, or he stays at Barcelona, I imagine. I could see him going back to Argentina as well, but I'm sure he'd want to get a few more years of a a top wage, and he's on like $1 million a week at the moment. He might take a wage cut, but he's not going to take that much of a wage cut. So that's a lot of the news that we've been having today. Obviously, we discussed all of that and didn't even talk about Paul Pogba testing positive for the coronavirus. So fingers crossed for Paul Pogba making a speedy recovery. Anthony Martial's called up to the France squad for games against Sweden and Croatia. Obviously, Paul Pogba has been withdrawn from that squad. So that is all the news for you guys today. Let us know what else you are thinking in the comments. If there's any stories that I've missed out on, then we'll get covering them, and we'll keep this show running for a few minutes longer. But let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. Ryan Rose says, Harry Maguire's quote of "I feared for my life during the arrest" in Greek, it does seem very, very dodged, doesn't it? Zachary Purvis says 4-2-2-2. Matic, Pogba, Bruno, Grealish, Tony, Marcus. Let Tony and Marcus drift wide or stay central, and the other two drift wide. Very, very narrow. You could use your wide players, your fullbacks as the width as well, but very, very narrow. That it's a proper FM 21 formation that people are going to be using probably. Galatasaray in for Fred. Those rumours have been dismissed, but there was talk about Turkish clubs being in for Fred. I can't see United letting go of Fred in this transfer window. He doesn't seem like the player that we will let go of. I could understand if we intended on giving James Garner or Dylan Levitt more of an opportunity in the first team, but it looks like those guys are possibly going to be sent out on loan. So I can't see why we'd be looking to sell Fred, unless we are planning on signing a DM, a Thomas Partey or someone like that. But you're not going to recoup much of a fee for Fred, I don't think. We spent 50 million on him. How much are you going to get for him in this kind of market? 25 mil if you're lucky, 30 mil. I don't think you're going to get much close to what you spent on Fred. I just don't think we'll be looking to sell him in this transfer window. Mata to Turkey is also a move that's been linked a few times as well. I am king. We have heard that one on multiple occasions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Mata leave United this summer. Steph Ewing with the super chat says, worried that Malang Sarr may go to Chelsea. Should United be worried they've got a proper squad now? Looks like he'll be sent back out on loan. Look, Chelsea are signing some very good players. Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva. I think Ben Chilwell improves their team. Thiago Silva obviously improves their team, but at the same time, a 35-year-old who's been cruising in France, coming to the Premier League, that could either be a masterstroke or an absolute disaster. So I'm on the fence with that. Would I want to see Thiago Silva at United? No. Ben Chilwell, on the other hand, is a good player. Do you know what I mean? I don't see bad business in that at all. Timo Werner, very good number 9. But again, I wouldn't start him over Anthony Martial in our team. You look at Hakim Ziyech, great signing. But if United get Jadon Sancho, again, not that concerned. Kai Havertz, fantastic signing. We got Pogba, we got Bruno, I know Kai Havertz can play further afield as well, but we've got players. As long as we get the players in those positions that we need, we can be happy. At the moment, you know, Chelsea will be looking at saying, well, we'll be finishing third based on the business that's been done, and based on last season. But at the same time, United last season had half a season with the team that we actually ended it with. So if we can get the players in the positions that we need, the Jadon Sancho signing, a centre-half signing, a midfield signing, whether that's a creative signing or whatever, and maybe another squad player, then we'll be fine. I'm not overly concerned by what they're doing, to be totally honest with you. I think it is very good business, and it's frustrating seeing other teams do business. But in terms of, should we have been in for Chilwell, Thiago, Werner, Havertz? Well, actually, maybe Havertz, actually, I'd say probably the most likely one out of those that I'd want to see us be in for. But then I'd rather us get Jadon Sancho. So it's all down to us getting our business done. If we get our business done, I don't think we can really look over there with envious eyes like that. We need players before the start of our pre-season. It'd be good to get that done. But I can see why United aren't rushing it, because we gave Harry Maguire a full pre-season or last summer. Because we kind of knew Harry Maguire would just settle in at Man United. And you look at the players we could potentially sign, Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish, for example, you'd expect them to just settle in straight away. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't take much settling into this, and they've had good pre-seasons under their belt with their current clubs. So again, it'd be ideal, it'd be nice, but I can see why it's not. Like Jadon Sancho coming to play with Rashford and that, being fully fit, having a good pre-season behind him with Borussia Dortmund. It's not that bad, you know what I mean? Chloe with another super chat says, I don't think many fringe players like Jesse and Delo will be sold with this injury and quarantine problem we had. I don't think Jesse Lingard will be sold anyway, but I think Delo could be. I do think he could be, which is a possibility, but let's see what happens, eh? I can't believe Jones is still here. What a joke, says Ilya. Chelsea have had a year odd of proper planning. That's true as well. They've had 2 years without making deals, so I'm sure they could prepare for this. But they've always been they've got big bucks there as well. So let's not pretend they haven't. I can't wait to see how Chong gets on at Werder Bremen. Really excited for him to get the German coaching. It'd be good to see how he does there as well, Sifosfu. It'd be really good to see how he get on there. Tess says, what are your thoughts on Man United's transfer activity? Not ideal. I would have liked to have seen at least a deal done by now. But I'm not panicking just yet because there's still a long time to go. So not panicking yet, but it's not ideal preparation, is it? You want to see us having done a little bit more business. If by